General Hospital spoilers, Dex's brother saves Joss. Carly lets her daughter leave GH. Port Charles will never be the same again. In an explosive turn of events, secrets buried deep resurface, loyalties are tested, and lives hang in the balance as Josslyn Jax finds herself on the edge of destruction, only to be rescued by someone she never expected, Dex Heller's long-lost brother. Meanwhile, Carly Corinthos is faced with the unthinkable, saying goodbye to her daughter, perhaps forever. Josslyn, Eden McCoy, determined to continue the work of her late stepfather Jason Morgan and her ex, Dex Heller, finds herself swept into a covert operation that quickly spirals out of control. Her fierce independence and righteous drive lead her to uncover part of a criminal network that has ties not only to pikemen but also to a forgotten player from Port Charles's darkest corners. Unknown to Joss, she's been shadowed for weeks, her every move watched. A sinister faction within pikemen, desperate to cover their tracks after Brennan's arrest and Jason's betrayal of the organization, sees her as a threat. When Joss goes missing during an independent sting operation near Pier 47, panic erupts across Port Charles. Enter Mason Heller, Dex's estranged older brother. A former Marine turned freelance operative, Mason has lived in the shadows, believing his brother was better off without him. Haunted by past sins and carrying scars both visible and buried deep in his psyche, Mason arrives in Port Charles after receiving an encrypted distress signal Dex programmed into Joss's phone before his supposed death. Dex had once told Joss, "If you're ever in danger and I'm not around, send this." And she did. Mason bursts into town like a ghost from Dex's past, ready to redeem both himself and the Heller name. His arrival shocks Carly, Sonny, and even Anna, who recognizes him from an off-the-books operation years ago in Eastern Europe. Anna warns Carly, "He's dangerous, but if he's here for Joss, let him do what he came to do." In a remote warehouse outside Port Charles, Joss is held hostage by a rogue unit of pikemen soldiers. They know she's Dex's girl and are eager to make an example of her. What they don't know is that Joss is far from helpless. Though battered and restrained, she plants subtle clues in her surroundings, a trick she learned from Jason, knowing someone will come. As hours turn into days, her captors grow agitated. One of them, an ambitious soldier named Sykes, wants her eliminated. But Joss's fire, her refusal to cower, her ability to manipulate her captors into infighting, buys her just enough time. That's when the wall explodes. Mason storms in like a human wrecking ball, taking down the soldiers with the precision of a trained assassin. In a heart-pounding scene, he pulls Joss from the brink just as a gun is leveled at her head. He's shot in the shoulder but doesn't flinch, his only focus is Joss's safety. As sirens wail in the distance, he lifts her into his arms and whispers, "Dex sent me." Back at General Hospital, Joss is treated for minor injuries while Mason is stitched up in secrecy. Carly, Laura Wright, arrives breathless, collapsing into her daughter's arms. She wants to press charges, call the PCPD, bring the full wrath of the law down on whoever touched her child. But Joss has changed. Her near-death experience, the haunting trauma, and the realization of how deep this war runs opens her eyes. "Mom," she says, "this life, it's not what I want. I need something different. I need to leave Port Charles." Carly is stunned. For years, Joss was the defiant lioness who would never back down. Now, her daughter is surrendering, not in weakness, but in search of peace. Carly struggles. She's already lost Jason. She lost Sonny to darkness more times than she can count. She's been through the fire with Drew and had her fair share of battles with Nina. Joss was her rock, the one constant. The idea of her leaving General Hospital, the place that practically raised her, is unthinkable. "I can't protect you if you leave," Carly pleads. "You couldn't protect me when I stayed," Joss responds gently. "But I'm not blaming you. I just need to find out who I am away from all this." Mason, listening nearby, offers to accompany Joss until she's safe. He owes Dex that much. Carly's instincts scream to say no, but her heart sees the truth. She nods. "Take care of my daughter." And if anything happens to her, you won't live long enough to regret it. When Sonny, Maurice Bernard, learns about Mason Heller, he nearly loses it. The idea that another Heller has entered the picture is a ticking time bomb. But Anna steps in and urges Sonny to trust this ghost. If Dex is truly gone, maybe Mason is the bridge to understanding why. Sonny confronts Mason in a tense scene at the safe house. The two circle each other like lions, one wounded by loss, the other fueled by guilt. Mason confesses, "Dex was supposed to come with me years ago. I left him to rot. I won't do the same to Joss." Sonny, visibly moved, gives a reluctant nod of respect. Then do right by them both. The final farewell at Pier 54 is heartbreaking. Trina, Cameron, and even Michael gather to send Joss off. It's a rainy day, a mirror to the emotions flowing freely. Carly stands by the car, trying to smile as her daughter, now dressed in military-grade travel gear, prepares to leave Port Charles. "This isn't goodbye forever," Joss says, hugging her mom. Carly forces a smile. "It better not be. I'll come find you if it is." Joss hugs Trina tightly, their sisterhood unbreakable. "Live your dreams. I'll be watching." As Joss and Mason drive off, Carly watches them disappear into the mist. For the first time in years, Port Charles feels quiet. In the final montage, we see Joss months later, now living under a new identity in Berlin. She's joined a humanitarian organization working with victims of international trafficking, a cause she's passionate about after her own trauma. But there's more. She's still working with Mason behind the scenes. She sends encrypted updates to Carly, who reads them late at night, smiling through her tears. Joss isn't just surviving, she's thriving. And in one of her final messages, she writes, "Mom, if Dex is out there, I'll find him. For both of us." In the last 10 seconds of the episode, we cut to a shadowy figure in a foreign hospital, wrapped in bandages, a dog tag around his neck reading D. Heller. His eyes open. This arc is one of General Hospital's most emotional and transformative in recent memory. Watching Joss go from passionate teen to a world-weary survivor determined to change the world is both heartbreaking and inspiring. Carly's decision to let her daughter go shows real growth, a character once defined by her control learning the power of release. And with Mason Heller now in the mix, there are limitless possibilities. Will he become a hero? Will his secrets destroy what little trust he's earned? And when Dex returns, because you know he will, what will he find? Stay tuned, Port Charles. The next chapter is already being written.